Good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I can't do that. The things that come up, I did that, and the fireworks will happen. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock today. I hope everybody had a great weekend and a great Monday. I had a great weekend. Might share a little bit of it because it was a really good weekend. Other than that, like I said, I hope everybody's good. Let me say hello, and then let's talk. Let's just talk. Robert Willis, good afternoon, Robert Willis. Good afternoon. He's first out the gate. Sierra Brooks in the house. She says 1. She later said happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you as well. Good afternoon. But she's the second caller. Number 3 is Jerica Van, who says 1/2, first/second. All right. You was close. You was second on Facebook. Steban Speed, good afternoon. Representing Westwood, good afternoon. Anthony Prosser, he says 2. All right. Anthony Prosser, good afternoon. That rounds out the top 5. Thank you guys for, supporting, checking me out. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Pat Rogers, representing the East End, good afternoon. Lamont Jones, good afternoon, Lamont. Thank you for checking us out. Erica Hummins, representing Reading, good afternoon. Nick Brown, representing beautiful Blue Ash, good afternoon. Hold on, I'm trying to look, make sure y'all can see and hear me. Lamont Jones, did I already say Lamont Jones? Yeah. Representing Westwood. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon, Carolyn. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Karen Dye Williams, representing Westwood. Good afternoon, Pamela Kinney. She's representing North Avondale. Alonzo Clark in the house. He said he's representing work. Can't beat that. Alethea Williams says she's in here. I'm not going to say what she typed because, y'all know, I don't cuss and all this stuff. Let me see. Daryl Carpenter, representing Forest Park. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Steban Speed in the house. Good afternoon, Steban Speed. Lewis Johnson, a.k.a. CK. Good afternoon. Says he supports my stance against the NFL. All right. I am still boycotting. I'm just because Colin Kaepernick is probably not going to get a shot. Just sell one of them teams to a majority black owner, and I'm back in. They still got a way to bring me back. But they don't care about me. They don't care about your black ass either. Let's see. Maria Smith in the house, representing North College Hill. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Danny Dozier, representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Got Al Johnson out there in Middletown. Good afternoon, Al. Sean Nutter, representing the ATL. Good afternoon, Sean. Valerie Davis, Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Scott Bain. Good afternoon. Vincent Jones in the house, representing Blue Ash. Good afternoon. Terry Coleman, representing the E-Town. Good afternoon. Got Ken, representing Virginia. Well, he's from Cincinnati. Good afternoon, Ken. I had to stress it like that because he think he represents Cincinnati. You represent Cincinnati in Virginia. But here, you in Virginia. So you are their representative here. It's just the way it works. I don't make the rules. Let me see. Emmanuel, do you have 2 pages running? I'm not sure what you mean, do I have 2 pages running? I have a Facebook page. That is my personal page. I have a Facebook page. That is the Afternoon Experiment page. I have a YouTube page, which is a personal page. I have a YouTube page that is the Afternoon Experiment YouTube page. And I have a Twitch page, which is a personal page. I guess I need to make an Afternoon Experiment Twitch page too. And I think I'm going to join Rumble. It's a new, I don't know how new it is, but it's a different live streaming platform. So I think I'm going to do Rumble as well. I started setting everything up. Maybe I'll finish that up tonight. Ooh, probably not tonight. Maybe tonight. We'll see. So, yes, I have multiple pages. Ruby Samuels representing Gulf Manor, good afternoon. Dominique Finley, good afternoon. Dominique Finley hates me for some reason. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. But she does. She says things about me that ain't true. It's just crazy. Daryl says, who cares if you don't watch the NFL? Can we put that to rest? Somebody brought it up. Somebody cared. They brought it up. I don't just come on every day like, oh, I'm boycotting the NFL. But if somebody bring it up, hey, who cares if people boycotting Target? I kind of care, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Drea, good afternoon, representing Sycamore Township. Robert Willis says you was number one. I don't know what that means, Robert. Terry Anderson representing downtown. Good afternoon. We got Brenda Early in the house representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Brenda. Tanika, I have a hard time pronouncing your last name. Yasharahia. Good afternoon. She's representing beautiful Orlando, Florida. We was cool yesterday. I thought about you yesterday. I was outside. It was warm. I was like, my friend. Oh, I need to talk to my friend. But I was too busy. I was like, I need to talk to my friend. I just need to say hi to my friend. And then I got up this morning and it was cold. I was like, that damn Tanika. So, you know. But I hope you're enjoying your day. Shahira. Good afternoon. We got Jason Dockery in the house representing Fairfield. Good afternoon. Ashley Marie out there in Fairfield. Good afternoon. When are y'all gonna get together and just have a watch party? And all the Fairfield people can be in one location. All the Blue Ash people can be together. Alethea, more lies. Just tell them more lies about me. I don't understand why they hate me. Shahira, representing Sycamore Township. I already said hello to her, but she put in where she's from. DeWanda Wise Hunter, good afternoon. LaDonna out there in Western Hills, good afternoon. Did I see the day party videos? I did not. But I hope everybody had a good time. Let's see. Diane Huddleston Angel, good afternoon. DeWanda Wise Hunter says, you near me today. I'm in Glendale. All right, representing Glendale. You can't beat that. Tanika says, just say young. Now you got to tell me how to pronounce it. And then I got to figure it out. You know, mentally I had to practice it a few times. And then maybe I'll do it right. Dina Johnson representing Walnut Hills. She's an angel in case you didn't know. Good afternoon, Dina. Daryl says, my raise here at work allowed me to get my wife a new car this weekend. She hasn't had a new ride in over 10 years. She was so happy. Well, congratulations. I like to see people do good. I'm not even going to hate on you like you did on me about the NFL. I'm going to celebrate you and your lovely wife. See how I'm doing that? Thank you. Sierra pulling it together. Says she's having a watch party with all the Boston viewers. Teamwork. It just take a little bit of teamwork. Fame. He says he's representing Madison Plains, Indiana. All right. Tanika, you called Cap. E-man, you weren't thinking about me. It's 86 degrees, by the way. I was thinking about you. And you just had to put that little dig in there. So now I wasn't thinking about you. Now. Dwayne Larkins representing Mount Airy. Good afternoon. Edward Lee Tommy Smith. Oh, what's up? Wasn't you hating on me earlier today? It might have been a different Ed. Somebody else was hating on me earlier today. All right. So that is everybody that's here. Thank you guys for joining the show. I appreciate you. Man, I listened to the Lincoln Ware show for a little bit. I heard Connie Pillage on. And hold on, let me say this, because I've said this before. I get so frustrated listening to Mr. Ware try to interview people that are controversial or that might say controversial things. I get so frustrated with the fact that he feels compelled to answer what he perceives to be difficult questions for the guest. It frustrates me so. But I think I didn't really get in it. Did I not say she was the prosecutor? What did I say she was? The prosecutor. I don't know if I mistakenly called her something else. If I did, thank you, Nakia. But yeah, Connie Pillage was in there talking to Lincoln Ware. She took questions. Some stuff I don't understand. And let me say this. I could not see her. I could only listen. So I couldn't see her. I could listen and I could see comments, but I couldn't see the video feed. It seems to me, if you're the prosecutor and you say that this person was railroaded, your office, however many years ago, railroaded somebody. Now, kind of the general vernacular of railroaded means I don't believe this person was guilty. I believe the charges were either made up or they definitely weren't. There wasn't enough evidence to prove them. And I believe that there was probably some misconduct that went on that led to this person being convicted. To me, that's what I take from the term railroaded, all right? Railroaded to me is not just, it was unfortunate that they chose to prosecute this person. Dominique, I said your name. I said hi to you. I read your comment. Dominique, I love you. You a hater, but I love you. Okay? But yeah, so when you say somebody was railroaded, that don't just mean it's unfortunate that they got caught. Just in general, I believe that that's the perception that people get when they hear the term railroaded. And the prosecutor said she believes, or I think she said she knows, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Or she might have just said, I feel like. But I want to say she said, with some degree of certainty, that Judge Tracy Hunter was railroaded. Her word. She later talked about a prosecution integrity unit. And what do you think a prosecution integrity unit? What would their role be? Wouldn't their role be something along the lines of making sure that nobody who's been prosecuted by this office in the past was railroaded, right? I think this person was railroaded. There's somebody, I don't know who it is. I guess I could go back and look. Nakia saying she was speaking of the Joe Dieters. She called it embassy. I don't know why you called it an embassy. But it doesn't matter. When you do an integrity unit, a prosecution integrity office or unit or whatever, you're doing that to say the prosecutions that we've prosecuted in the past. You don't just start with you. You go and you look backwards. And you say, I want to make sure that in all the prosecutions that this office has done, you might give it a time, in the past 20 years, in the past 10 years, whatever, I want to make sure that they were all above board. I want to make sure that everyone acted with integrity. All, what did she pointed out, like, all discovery was given. I want to make sure that, all the rules, all the laws were followed. I want to make sure that we were ethical. That's what the integrity unit is supposed to be about. So now you combine the integrity unit with, I believe this person was railroaded by our office. And then someone says, well, what you going to do about it? I don't know that there's anything I can do about it. Hadn't really thought about that. What do you mean you hadn't thought about that? That's a little bit of what you ran on. That's a little bit of what you ran on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had Tracy Hunter in your mouth so much when you was running, I thought maybe y'all was lesbians or something. That's how often she was in your mouth. Okay, I didn't actually think they was lesbians. I just thought that was clever to say. But it's not like this is new. So when you walk into the office, you should automatically be thinking, this was an injustice that now I'm in a position to attempt to right. Saying that you're going to look into it is saying you're not going to do anything. I don't know what I can do. That's what that means. Shahira says, that's not what she said. She said she would look into it. That's saying I don't know. That's what that means. I'll explain it in a second. Caller.
Hey, I'm glad you brought this up because I was listening to the show when that was on, and that same issue bothered me. The way the prosecutor, the way she said, it was asked about Tracy Hunter. She said, yes, I definitely think we all know she was railroaded. And then she said it was not on her schedule or it was not on her agenda or whatever. But then there was no follow-up as to, well, are you going to put it on your agenda? It was kind of like brushed over like, yeah, it's not on my agenda. So that kind of bothered me and it sat with me like, why nobody followed up on that? Like, well, are you going to put it on your agenda? Where do we go from here? It was nothing said after she said, I believe she was railroaded, but it's really not on my agenda.
Right.
Did you take it that way?
Right. And again, to me, the connection is your integrity unit.
Yep, she followed up with that. Like, okay, I have integrity things. I'm like, okay, so you just said Stacey Anders railroaded. You said it wasn't on your agenda. You didn't say you're going to put it on there or focus on it, but you're going to focus on integrity in the office. I'm so confused here. But yes, I felt that same way, and I just wanted to say that.
All
I
right,
have to get off
what's
here,
your
but
name?
yeah, that's what I want to say.
What's your name?
My name's Dee Dee. I was
Dee Dee.
the number 136,252 to log on today.
Dee Dee, I appreciate your call.
Okay, bye.
All right. That was Dee Dee. All right, I got to put it in here. So in case she ever calls back, I'll know who it is. And then I've shut that down because that is still doing that thing. I'm actually going to call them about that. I'm going to reach out to tech support. But I shut it down and opened it back up. So Shahira says, that's not what she said. She said she'll look into it. Or, hold on, I don't want to misquote Shahira. She said she would look into it. Let me explain. I did some customer service stuff before, right? I've did some customer service stuff, right? And I've had people call me and say, this problem exists. And as a company, we knew that problem existed. You know what you can say when you really just want to dismiss somebody? You've acknowledged that the problem exists. And they're complaining about the problem. You know what people in customer service say? Yeah, we'll look into it. That's a quick, easy way to dismiss whatever it is that you're saying. Just like railroaded has a meaning. Yeah, we'll look into that. Has a meaning. It has a meaning. And look, I'm not anti-county pillage. I'm not anti-county pillage. I just think a few things. Nat, I agree. We need justice for Judge Hunter. We need justice for Judge Hunter. And she knows that we feel that way. Which is why she talked about it. And then we put you in office. I think one of the things that you do when you put somebody in office is you say, number one, what are you going to do for me? In this case, the me being us, Black Hamilton County. And what are you going to do about what you campaigned on? And then she kind of used the idea that, well, she's appealing and blah, blah, blah. And I saw a comment and I kind of agreed with it. Somebody said, well, if you believe that she was railroaded, which means you believe that something bad happened in the office that you now preside over, and she's appealing, you know how appealing it would be for the prosecutor who prosecuted her, the office that prosecuted her, to join in with her appeal? I don't know the exact process of all of that because I'm not a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the law all that well. But I know that they can file stuff. And if there's an appeal going forth, they can, I believe, sign on to that appeal and say, you know what? In hindsight, the prosecutor's office who prosecuted her, we agree that this should be overturned. Right? We've all seen it. We've all heard it. We agree that whatever you're appealing, if you're appealing the verdict should be overturned because we believe The person who was, the people who were in this office before railroaded this lady. So we believe her conviction should be overturned. She's trying to get her law license back. You know what? We stand with her getting her law license back because we believe that the people who ran this office before and who prosecuted railroaded her. We think they did something improper or, unethical or something. They railroaded her. We support her. I think that carries some weight. The whole thing was weird. Shahira says, I'm smart enough to know that, Emanuel. I just think it's such a touchy topic. Those high up who even want to help can't say much about it. Yes, they can. Stop falling for the trick that we can't talk about this. They can talk about everything else. They are smart people. They know how to talk about, I kept saying this when this was going on and all of these people were saying, well, we can't talk about it because it's an ongoing case. We can't talk about it because it's an ongoing case. And now, well, we can't talk about it because, it's under appeal. And we can't talk about it because it's this. And we can't talk about it because... Yes, they can. Yes, they can. Don't stop believing that they can't talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. But they can all talk about it. They find ways to talk about, and again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not that smart, right? But I know how to talk about a thing without actually talking about the thing. Let's say, for example, say in some made-up county, there was a prosecutor's office that railroaded someone. Nobody in particular, let's just say. There was a prosecutor's office somewhere that railroaded someone. And then a different person took over the prosecutor's office. That different person could do some different things in that office to right that wrong. What was I talking about? But I didn't say no names. You can't say, Emanuel just talked about that case. Well, you could, because right before then I was talking about it. But just in that little example, they know how to do that. They do it all the time. That's how they get on TV. All of these lawyers. That's how they get on TV and talk about ongoing cases. They simply give you a disclaimer. Like, okay, I can't talk about this case, but what we've seen in the past is when things like this happen and then they go on their rant. They know how to talk about these cases without talking about these cases. Stop falling for, well, we can't talk about it because they tricking you. They know they can. They just choose not to. Edward says, is there not a group that can start a petition asking Pillage to look into the Tracy Hunter debacle? I think Pillaged our vote to get into office on the back of the Tracy Hunter issue, and now that she's in office, will do nothing. I don't know that a petition would help. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I don't know that a petition would help. She said she thinks the lady was railroaded. No one has to now convince her. Well, I think she was railroaded. I think she was railroaded. She's appealing. Join with her. I'll look into it. You've been there 100 days. You kind of ran on this. You know how much Trump done did in less than 100 days? And now you're going to get around to looking into it when? I think it's incumbent upon us to say to people who we put in office, what, the first Democrat in 90-something years, now we expect you to do something for us. Yeah, we wanted to get Melissa Powers out. You ran, so you fit the bill. You're not her. But now you have to prove you're not her. And the way you prove that you're not her, some action. I feel a lot of... I watched that video of the dude getting shot in Laughlin. A lot of the stuff she's saying that she can see, maybe they got some technology that can make stuff look clearer and different. Maybe they have some other evidence that they're not willing to show the public. But based on what I saw, I know Lincoln liked to talk about stuff being a good shooting. That didn't look like a good shooting to me. He came at him with a pipe. Well, they backed up. Come on. He backed up before he shot him. Come on. Hold on. That's the standard now. Take 2 steps back and then shoot. That's the standard. If we don't have a prosecutor that's gonna hold law enforcement accountable, that's gonna do what they said they're gonna do when they wanted to get our vote, what do we have? Look, I'm not worried about the prosecutor prosecuting, people who get caught committing acts of violence. Let me correct that. I'm not worried about the prosecutor prosecuting young and old black people who commit acts of violence. I'm pretty confident that's going to happen. I'm fairly confident that's going to happen. It's that other stuff. It's the other stuff. And the reason I'm making a big deal about it is because it would go a long way to show me, I can't speak for the whole community, it would go a long way to show me that you are in it for fairness and truth. If this case that you yourself said you believe this lady was railroaded, if you pursue truth and justice in this case, but if you're the person in Hamilton County in charge of pursuing truth and justice, and your response to, can you seek truth and justice, is, I'll look into it. That don't give me a lot of faith in the system. And people always want us to have faith in the system. Have faith in the system. Have faith in the system. The system got to do something for me to have faith in it. It's got to do something. You're not prosecuting law enforcement who it looks to me like just is out on the street executing people. But you got this thing. Y'all, people probably tired of hearing about Judge Hunter. And that whole case is just, it was garbage. That whole case was just garbage. And I don't know why I feel a certain passion about it. I talked to Judge Hunter a number of times. On air and off air. And I don't know, she just... And there are people who don't like Judge Hunter. There are people who don't like her. Because I talked to some of them as well. I talked to some of these black lawyers and black judges off air. And black people just in the legal realm here. Because, there are a lot of people who have law degrees who don't work in law. And they're the so-and-so of this organization, or they're the so-and-so of that organization. And I talked to a lot of those people too. And a lot of them, they don't like Judge Hunter. They think she's arrogant. Some people think, because y'all know me, I be trying to be honest. Some people be like, she is flighty. She's airheaded. But a lot of the complaint that I got about Judge Hunter was people thinking that she was arrogant and difficult to work with. And that was a lot of the reason why a lot of people didn't come out and speak in her favor. I would be asking these people, why you didn't come out and speak in her favor? And they would say, she's arrogant.
Hey.
She's this, she's that. That's why I didn't speak in her favor. I'm not going to come out for her. She's not nice to me. She's not friendly. She thinks she's better than people. I'm like, for real? That's why you not going to stand up and say she being railroaded? Why y'all won't stand together? But that was a part of why. So I feel like she got railroaded. I feel like a lot of people know. And for a lot of those people knew what they doing to her is wrong. It's wrong, it's bad, and it shouldn't happen. Then why don't you say something about it? She ain't never been no friend to me. What? But that was their honest answer. And it's that I feel so passionate about it, because stuff like personality conflicts shouldn't dictate whether or not you want to see justice happen. CK.
Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, how you doing?
There you go. Hey, man, great show, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a good show, Livingston.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, I heard you talking about one of my favorite people, and one of the favorite people, Tracy Hunter. I've always had, what's the word?
I don't know.
I always thought she was a wonderful person. Wonderful with a W. Even before all of this
Hold on.
conspiracy.
What other way could you spell wonderful other than with a W?
Indeed. I like her. I think she was under pressure, sir. I think she was railroaded, like they said. But I think the railroad was premeditated because of things she was doing before the railroad was built. She was a pioneer in her field for as advocacy for young teenage people that needed guidance, Livingston.
Okay.
And in her seek to put her youth on the right track, she was targeted by evildoers who tried to make her a felon, and I don't think she committed any. This is a judge, sir, so I don't think crime is something she's a part of.
Well,
So
hold on.
Okay.
She was a judge.
Yes.
Just being a judge doesn't mean that you don't commit crimes. Now, I'm not
True.
saying she did. I'm not saying she did. But please don't use that as your reasoning for why she was railroaded. Like, well, but she was a judge. She couldn't have done it. Like, no.
But sir, to make it to that far on the ladder, you have to stay squeaky clean to make it that far.
No.
You must not get up.
No. That's just
What?
it. You don't. You really don't.
You can have felons and make it to a judge.
You
Please
might not
explain.
be able to have felonies, but you can have done felonious things and just know the right people to get that stuff swept under the rug. Or, like there was a judge who allegedly was driving drunk and hit and killed somebody, I believe on Central Parkway, and they knew who the person was. And they just kind of swept it under the rug. I believe they said, and I don't really remember, I believe they said like, hey, that person really didn't have no business out in the street. And we don't know that person was drinking. When we got to his house, he had a drink in his hand. So he might have started drinking once he got home. But we don't really know. And maybe he didn't see her. So saying, oh, you're a judge, so that means you didn't commit this felonious act. No, not
That's
necessarily true.
I agree totally. You know me, I don't fight the facts. I'm not a fact fighter. I allow facts to explain truth.
Okay.
And I want you to look at Kanye West. This man is an absolute genius. He finally got him by the balls, Livingston.
Oh, really?
Finally got him.
And I don't follow Kanye West, so what has he done and who does he have by their testicles? Or testicles?
The Jewish people have met their match this time. He spent them around on their head. He took them for a roller coaster ride, and he got them this time by celebrating Hitler and by celebrating the Nazi sign, sir. He made the Jewish people face the reality of what they've been doing to African Americans the whole time through hip hop. So he said, so if y'all could celebrate and make millions of dollars off of our pain, why not me? What a freaking genius. And now they're forced to answer that question like, so y'all don't care about the black murder, the black blood in the streets. It is entertaining to you. Well, it's entertaining to me. Hitler!
I'm very confused
Freaking
about
phenomenal.
that. Again, I haven't been following Kanye West. That's a weird way to make a point.
Yeah, it's great, man. You celebrate Hitler. Now you're making all those Jewish who celebrate the death of our people. We celebrating these guys that kill our people. They yelling it from the mountaintops. So now, okay, if y'all want to celebrate our killers, we're gonna celebrate your killers. That is the genius, Livingston. He has made it where the Jewish people, they said, oh, stop saying Hitler was a good person. Nah, y'all celebrate Big Meats, nah. Y'all celebrate Larry Hoover. Y'all celebrate Nicky Barnes. Well, I'm celebrating Hitler. He got them crockless panties in a bunch, Lincoln.
I'm not
I
Lincoln.
said Lincoln, Emmanuel. My bad, Emmanuel.
No, that's
Livingston.
okay. Mistakes happen. I get it. I do it sometimes too.
That was a mistake too.
But I don't like that.
Yeah, that's how you should do it. Make them see the truth. Put a mirror up to them, Livingston.
Yeah,
You must
that's
make
not putting a
evil
mirror
doers-
up to them.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
no.
Celebrate Hitler.
That sounds foolish.
Hold on. It sounds foolish to celebrate the NWA straight out of Compton and make millions of dollars off the destruction of people. So Kanye doing the same thing. Yes, foolish on fool. Yes, thank you. It does sound foolish. So when I do foolish shit, don't call my shit out. We all foolish. Y'all motherfuckers made billions of dollars off straight out of Compton. Now I'm making billions of dollars off of Hitler. What is the difference? Why is it
Wait,
foolish?
so how is Kanye making billions of dollars off of Hitler?
So he's selling Hitler memorabilia, the Nazi sign, T-shirts, black Ku Klux Klan shirts. Oh, it's so wonderful. He's making those people look into themselves.
That doesn't sound like this amazingly intelligent strategy. It just sounds more like a confused person, maybe with some mental disorder that is not being appropriately treated.
Sir, you have the mental disorder. Now, your people have been abused by these crackers for hundreds of years, and you still defending them. You still defending them.
I'm not
They
defending
let them
anyone.
feel the pain. They need to feel the same pain. Listen, they celebrate Larry Hoover, Big Meats. Why can't we celebrate Hitler?
Hold on.
That's
Some of
great.
y'all celebrate Larry Hoover and Big Meat.
Don't talk about the crackers. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about the crackers.
No, but I'm talking about y'all.
No.
See,
No people on our side.
look. First, I don't totally buy into your theory, partially because I don't have the facts. But secondly, you keep saying they're celebrating Larry Hoover and Big Meech. But
Yes.
I hear black people celebrating Larry Hoover and Big Meech. Now, I'll be honest, I don't hear a lot of Jewish people celebrating Adolf Hitler. Okay? So if you can get the whole group to kind of stand together and say, no, that's bad, then you might have something. But there's so many black people who sadly celebrate these people that you perceive to be horrible for our community, which I would agree with you. These people who you say are horrible for our community, but we got black people celebrating them.
Yes, but this is what you're overlooking.
Okay, help
you
me.
need to look at the profit margin. We're looking at who's cleaning up at Tony Montana Scarface. Yes, it is hurting the community, but who's cleaning up that Jewish cracker? So when the Jewish cracker,
I don't like you using that term.
What's wrong with that? You need to get them. Listen, we say the N-word every day. You said the N-word on your platform. Now you're taking up for them people. Stop doing that.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I don't like you using that term.
You should like it.
But I don't.
Sir, because I know you don't, because you are like them. You use the N-word on your platform, and you didn't even say, I don't like that. But you said it because you don't have no shame when it comes to denigrate your own people. But you would come up real quick and try to defend them pink toes. But you would say it out your own mouth, B-A-N. You said that on your own platform. But when I attack them people, oh, look at their defender, Mr. Emanuel Livingston. Don't defend them people. They got enough defenders on their own. You need to defend us, black men.
I think I do my best to defend us, but at the same time, just because I'm defending us doesn't have to include defaming them.
We should. They've been defaming us for 400 years.
Look, two wrongs don't make a right.
But it make us even. It make us even.
Well, I kind of agree with you there, but I don't like it. I still don't like it. I don't like it.
Okay, I do like hurt people. So you know I like to hurt people, right?
All right. Well, is that it? You got anything else, sir?
I want you to get on board and stop infighting. You do too much infighting with your own people. You need to be on our team. We all need to be on the same team and go against the JCs. You didn't want me to say it. The Buick's backers. I'll say it like that. Buick's backers.
The what?
Yeah. We need to go to war against them people. You need to stop defending them people. They don't like us, man.
Wait, hold on. No, who you said I'm doing infighting. Who am I fighting?
Every time I got us a way to get out the violence. CK got the whole violence plan. I show you how to get the young people out of the life. I said, tell them that to get in the gang, you got to murder. Every man that go to jail
But
get
if that's
raped in
not
their ass.
true, why
Tell
would
these
I
people,
put it out there?
you need to put that stuff out here to get.
Not if it's not true. You
Yes,
don't win
you
people
don't.
over
None
with
of it's true.
misinformation.
Have you ever heard perception is reality, sir?
But it's not.
Didn't your grandma tell you, that's going to lead to one-way gun? That's going to either death or the penitentiary. That's facts, man.
What?
It sounds
my
like a
grandmama
lot.
never told me that.
Your grandma never said you doing this action would either lead to death or the penitentiary.
No, because I was never doing any of actions that would lead to death or the penitentiary.
That's the problem, sir. That's why you got to get behind people like me. Everything I did was death in the penitentiary. Every day I lived. I know it all. You speak on too many things you haven't been involved in. I'm about penitentiary. I'm about death. I'm about life.
Okay.
This is what I've been. I already been. So you need to get on board. You're already doing the right thing.
So just so I'm clear, you're saying we should only speak about things that we're involved in.
No. You should. No. I think you're on the right track.
Okay.
But I'm saying you need to get in the back. You stop driving the car. Just ride in the seat. Ride and put your seatbelt on. And let me, a person that's been through it, guide you so you can go teach the people. You trying to lead to the people.
So you're saying that we should only talk about the things that we've been through. Otherwise, let's let somebody lead us.
No, you need to take my teachings and teach. So everything I learned to you, you teach to the other people.
Okay, you don't know it, but you don't seem to know it. But what you're saying is you shouldn't talk about things that you've never been a part of. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying you should talk about them, but I'm saying you need more therapy on the session. You need more knowledge on it. So I'm saying if you want to talk about
Scott,
games,
you might be
talk to CK. I'm gonna educate you more so you're more better fit to talk to the youth about gang violence.
Okay.
I'm gonna educate you.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to understand, sir. But you do too much infighting. You gotta stop.
I don't think you know what infighting means.
You fight black people. You need to start going against other races.
Who am I fighting? That's what I'm asking you. Who am I fighting?
You need to. It should be us blacks against the Caucasians.
Right. Who am I fighting?
Like you said, Joe Dieters, the Dieters people.
Joe Dieters
is okay.
He
went after her?
All right. You're right. That is fighting.
Remember how he went after Tracy Hunter? She was black, he was white. It was a war, a race war, sir.
That's not infighting. But okay. Hey, I appreciate your call.
So did you see race involved in that case?
Yeah, but I appreciate your call. I got to run.
That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you, brother.
All right. I'm fairly certain that's not what you were trying to say. I don't know what you were trying to say. I'm fairly certain that wasn't it. And while you may know what infighting, like kind of the definition in terms of putting it into practice, you don't seem to understand. You don't seem to understand it. Hold on. I saw my niece on here, and she put up a few comments, and they was way, 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 way back. And I don't know what you said, Chelsea, and so I can't go back and read them. And it was so far back that my thing don't even, my scroll don't even go that far back. So I apologize for ignoring you, niece. Your favorite uncle apologizes. Ron.
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I ain't going to take too much of your time, but I want to point something out.
Yes, sir.
You know, I voted for Alicia Reese,
Okay.
but I voted for Stephanie, or not Stephanie Dumas, but Driehaus also. You know,
Uh-huh.
I not because I'm a vote down the Democratic ticket. I figured that with all the infighting, with speaking of that, with all the infighting that Alicia Reese was doing with Stephanie Dumas, I thought that it'd just be, keep a balance. But I wanted it to, keep it all Democratic in that office. But, like I told you, several times before, and you don't agree with me, but I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah, it's not.
And, when Connie Pillage won that seat,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hell no. Now, I just didn't figure it was no shit in the game. Well, yeah, I didn't figure nobody manipulated the election, but I knew that it would probably be some shit in the game. And, what we expect, I think now it was told on Lincoln's show that Cincinnati was the fourth or the fourth most or the fifth most racist city, but the fourth most livable city in the country. Now, we all know, Stan Poole and Queen T, Stefan, when Kelly Prather was out, they all stood on, Stefan may not be the most eloquent speaker, but, he tried to give us the real information. Sometimes he gets stuff wrong, but we wouldn't know if he didn't get it out there. And
I agree with you.
Stanford Poole, now now it's coming into play that all this time, I know that I've been not dealing with, but I know I've been aware of Stanford Poole and Queen T, their group for like 7 years, 8 years. All this time they've been complaining about it, but now it's some truth in it. Now we're discovering the truth. It's 7 years later. 7 years later, Kelly Prather, and now, she rubbed people in the city the wrong way, which I don't know why she would fuck around in Cincinnati with doing anything, illegal. I don't even go some places because I won't do shit illegal because of what I've done in the city. But even with her, getting them PPP loans, I've heard of people just paying the loans back. They gave her fucking 10 years. 10 years. And with all of the places that she's been, all the things that I've seen her do, and places and things that she's done in the community, ain't nobody say shit but bye. Ain't nobody say shit, And when I seen Tracy Hunter up there the last time on Lincoln's show, and then Alicia Reese call and say about all these developers and all that shit, and that it was some shit in the game and all this stuff, and she got cut off, and she ain't said nothing else about it. And I believe she ain't say shit else about it because ain't nobody gonna have her back here. Ain't nobody gonna have her back here. Like you said, people could have said some shit. People could have said some stuff in Tracy Hunter case. A lot of people could have said some shit. A lot of people was fake shaking like they was doing some shit and wasn't doing fucking nothing. Nothing. And that African that was walking down the motherfucking highway didn't have shit to do with that stolen car. Didn't have shit to do with that stolen car. Now, Connie Pillage gonna say, not today, but the last time Lincoln talked to her, she gonna say, "Oh, we didn't want to take and put the family through the grand jury process and let the grand jury take a look at this officer-involved shooting." Now, first of all, the motherfuckers don't know our laws. They couldn't even really speak English, so they don't understand. They don't understand. It was just an opportunity to go ahead and bypass this shit like nothing ever happened, and especially with them motherfuckers going all hard on that neo-Nazi shit. And that's why Al keep asking in case anybody want to know. That's why he keep asking, not because he's more interested in what they gonna do, because he keep asking because he want y'all to see the bullshit in the game. Now, this man walking down I-75 with a pipe walking down the street with a pipe for nothing. Now you know it's some bullshit in the game, but Connie Pillage, and y'all voted for Connie Pillage. Democrat down a fucking ticket. Connie Pillage voted for that motherfucker, and she ain't gonna do shit.
But Ron,
what the fuck them motherfuckers been telling her to do up top?
But Ron, this is where we come in. We voted for her. We have to put a demand on her. She's probably not gonna do anything just because it's the right thing to do. We have to put a demand on her and say, this is what we demand if you want us to vote you back into office. And
wait.
Hold on, let me finish.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
We have to convince her that we mean it, because the truth of the matter is they don't believe our outrage is real. And if it is real, they don't believe that it will last. Don't y'all remember when John Cranley, I forget exactly what it was, but people were upset with John Cranley, and John Cranley I think he was caught on a recording saying, they'll just be mad for a couple weeks and then it'll go away. That's how they feel.
That 2 week shit. That 2 week shit. Oh, they'll forget about it in 2 weeks. Yeah. Boy.
That's how they feel.
My thing is, and you correct, man. The chick that she asked Connie Pillage the question. She asked him about Tracy Hunter, petitioning something, and that she asked her about it being an active pushback in her office. Totally avoided the question. Now, I'm going to remind you of something. Now, when I wrote Lincoln an email, and I said, I love you, Link. I said, but you have an opportunity to go ahead and and I can't remember exactly. I still got the email, but I can't even remember exactly what I said verbatim.
I don't remember.
But essentially, you remember. because you told you to play that shit.
Now, I don't remember exactly what you said, but I do remember.
Yeah. So but I told him I loved him, and I said, you've been a part of this community, shit, but we need you now. We need you to tell the truth. We need you to tell the truth, and it's a trip now. I done see how he moved. I don't even want to, cause my feelings, my feelings for Link like you. I got love for Link, but it's frustrating with his ass. Because he can be 100 and he don't have, he retiring soon, like I said, and he won't, go ahead and, speak the truth to people, and we need him to speak the truth to people, because just like Connie Phillips said on his show today and said what she said, and he ain't give her pretty much zero pushback. And if you would have seen the shit on his TV show with Connie Phillips, that shit was unbelievable. That shit was unfucking believable, man. That shit was crazy. But I'm telling you, the Democrats not for us. Not for us in Cincinnati, and it's a
none of them.
They only move
in Cincinnati.
They only move.
But Ron, in Cincinnati and nationwide, none of them are for us, and we have to put demands on them.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand what you're saying. Shit, I definitely do that shit. Well, but it's like I told Wyatt a long time ago. It's a trip to be smacked around in your own house. And David, eat a dick. Damn. Why you be riding me so hard?
What?
No, man, that nigga, he be riding me on all hard, even when I ain't on here. Damn, eat a dick. Shit.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you.
Bye, man. You.
All right. And I don't know what happened. Something happened. Everything went left at the very end. Who is David? I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what happened. I agree with the overwhelming majority of what he had to say. I do. We and I just think we have to make demands, and we have to make it clear that these are demands. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to suggest to you, and then I'm going to make some demands. And there's going to be consequences if those demands aren't met. Now, Ron, I didn't want to say this because I didn't want you to, go crazy or anything like that. And you had already started on David, whoever David is. I don't know who David is. I don't know what David did or said. But we gotta do that same thing with your boy, Trump. Like y'all, you know what I'm saying? All y'all who supported that guy and the crazy stuff that he doing. Come on, y'all gotta put some demands on him. Ken says, Emanuel, is this guy Wyatt on YouTube? Yes. I believe he has a page on YouTube, Wyatt Live, and I think he has a Randall Wyatt page. So search for both of those, and you should be able to find him. Daryl says he talking about David Herring comment. I didn't see it. So maybe that's why it all went over my head. I didn't see a comment by David Herring. So, yeah, it went over my head. hold on. Did David say something? What did David say? I got to look back because it's got to make sense to me. Let me go and see if I see a comment by David. David. I don't. Oh, David put up the little alien spaceship. Oh boy. Oh. You upset him, David. But Ron, look, I'm okay with people mocking people. A little bit. I'm okay with people mocking people a little bit. And the little alien emoji things ain't that bad, Ron. It ain't that bad. But I totally missed that. That's what he was responding to. Okay. I'll tell you something else. I heard listening to Lincoln Show. This was when Greg Landsman was on. I heard somebody calling in saying, and he was really upset. Why can't y'all just get him out of there? Don't we pay a psychologist or a psychiatrist? I don't remember which term he used. Don't we pay somebody and now y'all can just use all the proof he got to get him out of there? And you know, it made me think. There are a whole lot of people who really don't understand kind of how government works. And Greg Landsman was doing his best, which I think, like, he was like, I don't know how to say it. Because I like Greg. I want to be nice, but I had to be honest. Like, Greg is a nice guy, but he come off as, see, these are the times I measure what has to be said and what maybe doesn't have to be said. And this is just one of those times. Greg, I believe you know your stuff. I really believe Greg's heart is in the right place. And I believe his intention is to do what's right and all of that good stuff. I really do. But Greg comes off. Thank you, Carolyn. Soft. I was measuring, did I need to use the other word or not? Soft works. He comes off soft. Like, really soft. Like, softer than them Little Debbie oatmeal pie soft. Like, he come off soft. And there's something about, a nice measured response to a thing. But, and hold on, Shahira says, you really did listen to the show today. I said I listened to the show. Like, how was that shocking? I tell y'all, I listen to the Lincoln Ware Show. I like the Lincoln Ware Show. I've always liked the Lincoln Ware Show. So why is it shocking that I admitted to y'all that I listened to the show today? I didn't get a chance to listen to all of it. They're like, oh, you really listened to the show? Like, what, did you think I was making it up? Like, I'm just going to say I listened to the show, but I didn't really listen. Come on. But yeah, he talks about Jasmine Crockett. And there's the Moskowitz, I don't remember his first name. I want to say it might be Jared Moskowitz. I think he's out of Florida, but I'm not 100% sure. There's a few of them there. But they all speak with intelligence, passion, authority. Sometimes you can't just be measured in your response. Sometimes you have to say it with some passion. Like, sometimes you gotta say it. Jasmine ain't no star because she's measured and no, she's just speaking with passion. Speak with some passion, Greg. But he was trying to explain to people like, no, we can't impeach him right now. What's wrong with y'all? How do y'all not know that we Democrats can't just come up and say, hey, we impeaching the president. You're out of office, buddy. Get out. We have a minority. We don't control the House or the Senate. And you need, even if we could muster the votes to actually get him impeached in the House, we need, 67 senators to vote to convict to get him kicked out of office. How do y'all still just think that we Democrats can just jump up and say, you're out of here? He didn't quite explain it like that. You know, you have to, there's a certain threshold that you have to meet. And we're not the minority, so we'll need, if we were even to manage to get him impeached, we need a super majority, which is 67, I believe, senators to get him out. And but we're trying. I'm trying to get some traction and say things that people will listen to. And I go on podcasts and I say things, and I'm trying to explain. People, you should read the Constitution, and that ain't inspiring nobody, Greg. I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. You daggone right. But come on, Greg. Talk about this stuff like you talked about education. When Greg was talking about, what was the name of it? I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember the name of it wasn't No Child Left Behind. It wasn't a No Child Left Behind. What was his organization? Was it Stride? Was his Stride? Either way. When he talked about stuff like that, he was passionate. Now, he still wasn't, fiery, like, you wasn't going to confuse him for no Baptist preacher or nothing like that. But, you know what I'm saying? There was passion. We don't hear the passion, Greg. I know it's there. But you need to let it bubble up inside of you and then run over. Was Lansman supposed to say, Ninja, you're ridiculous. We can't use psychology records. Somebody should have explained to that dude. I wanted to explain to dude, like, dude, you ain't making no sense. That's not how any of this works. How do you think that that's how this works? How old are you? How old are you to just think, we could come in and say to who? Do you think Trump? I don't even think Trump use a real doctor, do he? Does he even use a real doctor? I know at one point he was using that wacky looking dude. Talking about this is my doctor, and he said I got the best body ever. So yeah, he should have said something to let dude know. I mean, he did. He did. He said something. I think people, you should go and you should read Article 1. Well, read the preamble because it's short, but then you should read Article 1 of the Constitution. People ain't going to read Article 1 of the Constitution. If they think, just Democrats can just throw him out and just say, hey, a psychologist said he needed to go. They not going to read it. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Preschool promise. Thank you, Nat. I'm not saying, Sierra, there's anything wrong. She says Landsman just want ninjas to be politically literate. Nothing wrong with that. I agree. There is nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I think what we're going to do, is we're going to read the Constitution on this show. Y'all know I like to highlight my reading skills. That was funny to me because I really don't. But I think we're going to read the Constitution. We're going to take it in little chunks. And I mean, in all honesty, I've never just sat down and read the Constitution. And just reading it ain't necessarily going to make us understand it. So I'm going to see if I can find somebody who can, like some constitutional law professor or something, that as we read, they can help us understand it. So I think that's what we're going to do. Don't ask me exactly when we're going to start. But I think we're going to read the Constitution. We not, again, Diane says, how long will it take to read it? We gonna read, Jared can talk about Cliff Notes. No, we're going to read the whole thing. We're going to all be able to say, we've read the Constitution. I don't know about nobody else, but we're going to all be able to say, yeah, we read the Constitution. We're going to read the whole thing, every amendment, the whole nine. Again, we're going to take it in chunks. We're not going to do it all in one day. We're not going to do it all in one day, but we're going to read it. So we will all know and be able to say we read it and we have some understanding of it. So when people call in saying, can he do 3 terms? We'll be like, no, he can't, because this amendment or whatever was put in. And, you know, I'm not going to be no, because I don't remember dates and stuff like that. So, in 1963, this was signed, and then it was ratified, and then I can't do that. Well, somebody told me not to say can't. I'm not really good at doing stuff like that. I barely remember my anniversary and my daughter's birthday and the little baby's birthday. I'm not good at remembering dates and stuff like that. I had to do the math and then work backwards for that little baby. How old are you, little baby? That means you was born in. Yeah. I just don't remember that way. So yeah, that's what I think we're gonna do. Give me a little bit to pull it together. Now, if I can get a constitutional law person to help us and explain this to us, great. If I can't, we just gonna read it. And then we gonna reason it out right here, live on the air. We gonna read it. And we all know, do we have to do the preamble? We all know the preamble, right? Because they had that song on Saturday mornings, and so we all learned that song. Vincent, you was there before me. Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah. But we are. As I was listening to that man, who I don't know his name, but he was fired up. All the money we pay to get the psychiatrist is up there. I don't know if he sounded like that, but in my mind, that's how he sounded. Vernon say, just read it. And if we need something clarified, then use an artificial intelligence app. We're going to read it. We are going to read it. No, throw in the preamble. We're going to read it. Starting soon. If not, what's today? Tuesday? If not Thursday, maybe Thursday or Friday. We're going to start reading it. If you don't want to know, you don't want to be, then when I start reading, you can turn off. You can turn off. I'm going to try to make the reading exciting and not boring. I'm not going to be too over the top, but y'all know how I talk, and this how I'm going to read. And we'll have a little bit of fun, hopefully, reading the Constitution. And then maybe we'll do that with some other stuff. But okay, all right. DeAndre say, I'll sponsor the Constitution for Dummies book. You want CK and Twin to be the readers. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll get somebody else here to read, but it's got to be somebody that can read I had to say that I like Greg Landsman as a person. I like Greg Landsman, but I don't want him to read the Constitution to me. I don't. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, establish. No! I want to read it. We, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more, you know what I'm saying? Read it. That's what we gonna do. Let me tell y'all about this weekend. I had a decent weekend, y'all. The show is over. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me. And the show is over. Now this is the after show. I had a decent weekend. On Friday, I went to an event. I was honored at this event, and I was honored to be honored. It was a really nice event, and everybody did great. They had singing and dancing and what they called it, spoken word. And I was nervous when they said spoken word, because hold on, first people they had the some African dancers. They had drums, and they was dancing and doing the African stuff. I can't do it. And I couldn't enjoy that because they had me in the front row. All of the people who were being honored, they had us in the front row. And I was fearful the entire time that one of them ladies was going to say, hey, come on up here, because I can't dance. And everybody know I can't dance, but for whatever reason, people be wanting you to dance when you can't dance. People be trying to pull you up on stage and all that kind of stuff. So the whole time I was watching thinking, please don't call me up on stage. Please don't call me up on stage. What am I going to do if they call me up on stage? How am I going to react if they call me up on stage? What excuse am I going to make to not even pretend to try to dance if they call me up on stage? They didn't call nobody up on stage. But I couldn't enjoy it for fear that they was gonna try to call me up on stage. I think they should announce, like, before we start, we're not calling nobody up on stage. And then I would have really enjoyed it, because they were really good. Nat say two-step, brother. You can't two-step African dance. They play, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't playing the percolator, but they was playing some African beats. That's in my mind when I started doing it. It was gonna be African, but then the more I got into it, it felt like the percolator, and they was not doing the percolator. But yeah, so I enjoyed as much as I could the dancing, the singing, and then they said spoken word. And I was like, oh no, because I can't, I'm one of them people who I can't do spoken word. I'm one of them people, I don't know, oh no, I'll be ready to leave. I'll be ready to leave. I can't do the cadence and, all of that kind of stuff. I just, your typical spoken word. Oh, oh no. But then, it was just a nice reading of a poem that was really good. Like, it was really good. Like, I listened to it. I could understand everything that was being said, and the pictures that it painted and the lesson that it spoke of. I was like, this is really good. It's like, don't call that spoken word, just say poetry. Or she was about to read a piece. I'd be like, all right, read that piece. Let me see. And then it was some more singing. And then they, honored the people. And I asked them, like, am I going to be asked to speak? And she was like, you want to speak? And I was like, no, I do not want to speak. She was like, yeah, okay, no, we're not asking nobody to speak. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is amazing. So, yeah. And then everything, when they had light refreshments and everything before, and music and conversation. It was a really nice event. Came home, and then Saturday afternoon, I took the little baby. She had an event where she was singing at this event. The school that she goes to, they have a number of campuses around the city, and they do this big arts presentation. And I said, she's about to read a piece. Sierra, what are you talking about? That does not sound dirty. But yeah, they had this thing, and in the session that I went to, they had a little bit of everything in there. And in all honesty, you know how like you go to kids stuff, school stuff, a school play or a school recital or a school dance, and you're like, I'll fight through it until my kid come up, and then my kids group probably ain't gonna be no good either, but my kid gonna be in it, so it's gonna be all good. No, literally everybody who they had perform was really good. Well, almost everybody. It was a couple of them little kid dancers that I wasn't impressed with, but they could dance better than me. And I mean like third graders doing dance. And I mean like dance, like Cincinnati Ballet type stuff. But they weren't very good because they were like 10. But everybody was good, and I really enjoyed it. And I think I left there at about 3:30 or so. And, then me and Mrs. Livingston did some stuff. So I enjoyed my weekend. It was a nice, art-infused weekend. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. So, yeah, I mean, then of course I went to church, and that's always good. So yeah, I had a good time. I had a good weekend. Had a really good weekend. And then I made the shirt. No biggie, just 2-color design. And I already had the screens done. These screens been sitting there for months, just waiting for me to print the shirts. So I went on ahead and printed the shirts yesterday. I did a few of them, so you might see the same design in a t-shirt, in a light hoodie, and in a heavier hoodie, if I end up wearing a heavier hoodie. Let me see. I saw a comment. Mary says, have you ever danced with your wife? I've danced with my wife. It was an interesting thing. She know I can't dance. She's known I can't dance since we met. And I keep telling her she's supposed to teach me how to dance. But she don't want to teach me how to dance. I'm going to go take some dance lessons somewhere. I'm just not, like, I want to learn how to tap dance. And it sound crazy, but tap dance feel a little too buck dancey to me. It feel a little too mammy, you know what I'm saying? I don't, but I do want to learn how to dance, how to tap dance. I enjoy the art. Jerica says, do you skip too? What do you mean, do I skip? Well, hold on, let me answer your question just on the surface. Yes, I skip. Even though I don't know what you mean when you say, do I skip? But yes, I'm a 54-year-old man who literally skips sometimes. I be just so happy. My life is just like, I got no complaints about life. I literally be skipping sometimes. But I don't know what you mean when I dance. Do I skip? Nike says, I was in tap dancing and ballet. I'm gonna take some dance lessons. I'm gonna conquer this not being able to dance piece in the next year. But it is, Vernon say, just cracked up at too buck dancy. It is. It feels a little too buck dancy. But I want to learn how to do it. Brent.
Okay, when you're skipping down Reading Road, what song are you humming in your head?
None. Sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes skipping, I'm usually not skipping down Reading Road. If you ever see me in church, and I typically, anytime you see me in church, I'm working, I'm doing sound. And, something goes wrong, or, like I'm coming in and something bad happens 3 minutes before service starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to run all the way up to the front and then run to the back and then run to the back and then run back to the, I'm saying, a lot of times I'm not running, I'm skipping. I skip all the way up to the front. For whatever reason, I feel like I'm moving faster when I'm skipping, and I'm skipping places. I do, yeah.
Okay, you got to demonstrate this skipping, because I have this picture in my head with you with your shirt. Because I have a T-shirt. How did they used to do back in the day where they used to turn it inside out but keep it on, and then your arms thrown back and you skipping up there. Here, Pastor, I'll fix your mic for you. Then you skip back to the sound. That's the thought in my head. So you got to help me get that thought out of my head, because I'm 99.44% sure that is not how you're skipping.
I don't know how to explain it, but I do. I skip. I really do. And I don't even think about it when I'm doing it. And one of the brothers at the church, this was actually probably about a month, maybe 2 months ago, he mentioned it to me. And he was like, it's just always fascinating to me. He said, I never want anything to go wrong, but I love it when things go wrong because you just see you skipping up there and you skip up there and you take care of it. And then you skip on back and everything be good. And I was like, is you taking a shot at me? And he was like, no, it's just something. This is his words. It's just something about seeing the joy with which you do your work. And it's kind of exemplified in you skipping up there and then skipping back, and you look so happy and pleased to be doing what you love to do. It fills me with joy. And I was like, okay, well, I'll take that. But I still think you might have been taking a little bit of a shot.
Yeah, well, you need to get the Queen of Talk to use her phone to record you skipping, fixing things. Well, skip on the treadmill that's just hanging. Well, clothes are hanging on it. Skip on there.
There's
so we
no
can.
Clothes hanging on my treadmill.
That's good. But you were talking about the dancing with the African dancing, and man, one of the things I saw out in when I was out there in Arizona.
Hold on, wait. Jerica, really? You gonna take a shot at me? You got joyful and gay? Really? That's what you gonna say? Joyful and gay? Okay, all right.
We talked the 1950s gay. I think that's what Jerica's talking about.
Yeah,
where gay didn't mean gay.
When I
it meant happy.
When I find a way to hack into your computer system, Jerica, and I see that you have a subscription to Twins OnlyFans, I'm letting everybody know. But go ahead, buddy.
Oh my Twins. With an OnlyFans, is he? Does he have his feet soaking in almond milk, or what kind of content is he producing?
I don't know. He said he might do an OnlyFans, and I just, in my mind, I just imagined Jerica subscribing. But go ahead.
But back to this dance, they had the Cherokee. Folks from the Cherokee tribe, they were doing their dances and everything. And one of the dances, because they had the younger kids in there doing the dance, and the older guy, well, it was the husband. And then the wife was doing the dance. In her dance, they had the drums and almost like bells. It wasn't bells, but cymbals, like little cymbals, and similar to that. I don't want to, it sounded something like that.
They were Native American, or were they African?
Native American.
Okay.
They're Native American, so from the Cherokee tribe.
Okay.
But the lady, the older lady, or the wife, the way she was dancing, I looked over at my wife. I'm like, now you take that music away and put some organs and a drum with a snare. This lady doing the happy dance in the church. But it was just a little bit slower. But that's, just imagine her with her hands behind her back and just going, up and down, the basic step, for the ladies.
Yeah, I've seen that.
What it reminded me of.
Yeah.
But it was just the colors they had in the outfits and the different dances they were doing, and even they did spoken word. And yeah, thankfully they didn't ask me to come up on stage because I would have pulled a hamstring on the spot. Yeah. You're not getting me up there for nothing in the world. We'll jump to some serious stuff. J.D. Vance dropping the BCS trophy on the East Lawn. Could he not see it? Does he have too much eyeliner? Did that get in his eyes to where he just didn't see how to hold this thing properly?
I don't think he realized that it was two pieces. And so he thought,
and it's top heavy.
Yeah, and so he thought, I'll pick it up, and but when he picked it up and it all kind of came apart, it threw him for a little bit of a loop.
Mm-hmm. Well, good thing they were there to help him not totally drop it, because that wouldn't have been
well, yeah, he dropped the bass. I would bet you there's probably a chip in the bass.
So yeah, and Trump is 224 pounds, not 225, because that would make him obese, but 224 pounds. if he's 224 pounds, me at 6'3", that would make me, just based on our body types, I would have to be $125, and that is not the case.
Oh.
But it's just crazy, and the stock market bouncing back, and Trump trying to claim credit for that, which is wild. You set the fire and then you put it out, but you want praise for the stock market bouncing back, which guaranteed 401ks, they may have came back a little bit, but that money that it bounced back by was a lot of it was a great percentage of it was people within his circle who went there and bought right before he made that announcement and dumped, because, normally when stocks bounce back, it goes up and then it comes down a little bit, then it may continue to creep on up. But that's who made all the money. So people with the pensions, 401ks, and other things, they're not going to regain all that, and they're going to have to work a little bit longer than what they wanted to. And that's just a crying shame. Greg Landsman, I listened to it too, and actually on his TikTok, he actually has more personality on that than when he was sitting there across from Lincoln. I don't know if he's not normally around black people, or maybe that's what had him a little bit tight and everything.
He is.
But
Greg is normally around black people.
Okay, he shows, like I said, he shows more personality on his TikTok than he does on the when he was there in person. And one thing he said that really, really irritated me, he threw the Democratic Party underneath the bus, saying, "Oh, well, Biden didn't properly address the border and didn't take it seriously and everything." I'm like, dude, don't you remember that bipartisan bill that was sponsored by two of the most conservative Republicans that was all set ready to pass, and then Trump opened his bloated mouth and said, "Kill the bill," and then all the Republicans voted against it? That would have fixed a lot of the issues with the border. That would have fixed a lot of the issues with the immigration, because a lot of it is just a backlog because they don't have enough immigration lawyers to go through everything. So that's why they wind up with dates that are, some cases a year or two out before they have to come there and, state their case for seeking asylum. So he knows better than that. And, I can understand if he went down the dial and said something like that, but come on now.
Well,
he knows the Republicans torpedoed that deal.
I think maybe, and I'm, really kind of making, but maybe they wanted to do something more aggressive earlier on, and, it didn't happen, or, people couldn't get behind it. And so that might explain why he was saying that. If that makes any sense. Like, okay, at the end they had this bipartisan border bill, but a year before that, we wanted to do this and we couldn't rally the party to do it, or they wanted it to be bipartisan, so, whatever. And so that might make somebody say, if the Democratic Party would have just taken care of this type of thing.
Yeah, but we know the the Republicans are going to say that. So why give them, why tell their narrative for you, type of deal? Just focus on what you tried to do and what you tried to accomplish, not necessarily when you tried to do it, because he's not going to win over any, so-called independents or Republicans by saying, the Democrats should have did it sooner or whatever. You're not going to win any new constituents that way.
I agree.
But let's see. Now, are you going to be on at least 2 more days this week?
I intend on being on every other day, not every other day, but the rest of the week.
Okay, yeah, because in with that, because this is, not only is it, going into Good Friday, Resurrection Sunday, Easter, but it's WrestleMania weekend in Vegas. So we got to discuss the cards for both nights, and I'm not going to just cram it all in one day because I don't want to get Miss Janice and LaDonna too excited. We need to pace it a little bit so we can discuss the match circumstances and all that other good stuff. But and lastly, you said you wanted to learn how to tap dance.
Yes.
you have a perfect resource right there in Cincinnati, and one who's always up in Columbus. Just give Ken Anderson a call or Uncle Charlie Winburn a call, because them are two of the biggest tap dancingest local Cincinnati folks that I know. And I'm sure they could teach them out. Now, it's going to be some huckabuck in there, most definitely. But, you know, when they get to that portion of it, you just say, no, we're going to keep it in the pocket, keep it in the two-step tap dance. But, yeah, but I'm sure they can help you out. You know, then if you want to advance to the graduate level course, Cousin Tim Scott is definitely your man, because he gonna sprinkle not only sand but a little veteran.
Just for the record,
for
the record, I like Charlie Winburn.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, but I see game with Charlie Winburn, and you know, with family, you know.
Charlie Winburn, he plays the game. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. He does. He plays the game. But I like Charlie Winburn. I think he's a good guy. Yeah,
he's way more politician than I expect out of my preachers.
But I'll tell you this, which is always a funny story to me. I've shared this story a number of times before. There's a guy, I don't know if he's still alive, Dick. I can't think of his last name.
You better come up with his last name. You can't leave it there.
No. He's an older white guy. He's a Jewish guy, and his name is Dick something or another. I don't remember his last name. But he came to Charlie Winburn's church when I was at Charlie Winburn's church, and you know, he and Charlie Winburn had some sort of a relationship, and I guess people were kind of critical. You know how people be. Like, oh, yeah, this is this white man, blah, 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 blah. And Charlie Winburn, to take a stand. You know, I don't care how y'all feel about him.
Right.
And this is almost a 100% direct quote. Charlie Winburn says, I like Dick. And, I like Dick. Dick is white. I like white Dick. Dick is a white Jewish. I like
no
Dick.
Kosher.
Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I like white Jewish Dick. And he repeated that probably 5 or 6 times, and I could barely, because he had no idea what he was saying. Because of course, he's just talking about the guy. But he's standing there proclaiming how much he loves white Jewish Dick. It was the funniest thing ever. And the people who, you know what I'm saying, me and the band, the singers, we're all trying to not look at each other, because we know if somebody look at somebody, we all gonna fall out. And so they were trying to not make eye contact because they're up on stage in front of everybody. I am doing my best to make eye contact with anybody so that I can make them break up there on stage. It was the funniest thing ever. And he had no idea. Sam Malone was with him at the time, and afterwards Sam Malone and we were talking, and I'm mentioning to Sam Malone, like, you know, like, Winburn really liked white Dick. Sam Malone's like, yeah, he's a nice guy. And I'm like, it didn't hit him either until, of course, I mentioned it to him like 3 or 4 times. Like, no, he really, really liked white Dick. And he's like, oh, man, you're wrong for that. Oh, my goodness. It was one of the funniest things. That's it. That's my funny story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know this clip is going to make it on the Friends page. Oh, it's definitely gonna make it. So yes, that's why I was egging you on. Keep it going there. But last thing, bro, what's up with the merch page? When we gonna get some merch?
I knew you was gonna say that. I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm gonna keep on asking. Gotta hold you accountable.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Hey, well, you take care, and talk to you next go round.
All right, Brent. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
All right. That program acting up again. Shut it down. Open it up. And there we go. Yeah, it was absolutely hilarious. And again, he was just proclaiming that he likes that guy and he don't care what you say. But the way he was saying it, it really was one of them things where you had to be there. And I love to make people break. Like if you're in a position, and this is a warning to anyone, if you are in a position where you're supposed to be stoic, or you're supposed to like, when I'm producing a show, where I used to produce shows, and they're talking about a subject, if I can make you break, I don't know, it's just something about it that gives me joy. And I have to say, Lincoln is a professional. And I think I can only remember one time when I really made Lincoln break. And that was when Zakiya was telling the trapped in the closet story. And he couldn't hold it together. But I used to make Jerry break all the time. I don't know why. I like it. So for me to be there where nobody's looking at me and the band and the singers to be up front while he proclaims his love for that, and them to be trying their best to not look at me, and I'm texting them. Because, everybody got their phone, so they know when they feel that phone buzz, vibrate, that it's me laughing about what Winburn is saying. But nobody would look at me. Nobody would look at me. Inside, I could tell they was ready to break, but nobody would look at me. All right. Y'all, I'm about to get out of here. I'm trying to look back at some of the comments. Let me see. Remember when that lady you were married to wouldn't look at me? Yes, I do remember that. That's another you had to be there. You had to be there. But why, when Zakiya said she had to drink water from the bathroom, sink, Lincoln go say, that's good water. Oh, that whole thing. I wish I could find that little promo CD that we made, but I don't know where any of them are. And I don't have any of those old promos that I produced laying around anywhere. I think I used to do a daggone good job producing content for that station. We used to have updated, timely promos that were interesting or funny, but they captured the mood and the moment like perfectly. I worked hard on that stuff. I still I cannot hear Let Me Clear My Throat without thinking of Gleno. I can't do it. Anytime I'm somewhere and that song comes on, that Gleno pops into my mind. Meyer said, whenever I hear Let Me Clear My Throat, I immediately think of Gleno. Yes. Immediately. And I remember when he said that to J Love, I was like, oh no, that is without a doubt a promo. That is a promo. But yeah, there were so many good ones. But the Let Me Clear My Throat, Trapped in the Bathroom. I'm trying to think of some more good ones. Those are the two that really stand out to me. Of course, all the Sister Francis ones. Yeah, all the Sister Francis ones. But there were so many more And I used to have such a good time, uh, taking audio and creating something. I had a good time doing that. I really enjoyed that. Yes, him talking about Lincoln's mother. Yeah, those were good. I didn't do Alicia Reese's mother promo. I didn't do those. Or that one. I didn't do that one. Jimmy singing Drew Hill. That wasn't actually a promo. That was just something that I thought was hilarious. Why would that man be singing that? And I had the instrumental or I had the song, and I knew I could just take that. No, I had the instrumental with I'm gonna call it the karaoke version of it. So I knew I could take that and put that on there. Zakia and the pie date. It's still funny to me that whole situation with Zakia and Ozzy is still funny to me. It is still funny to me. How you invite a dude over, tell him that you made him some pie, y'all eat dinner, now he know it's a nice hot pie back there, and he like, can I get some pie? And now you mad at him for asking for pie. That just never made sense to me, but yeah. Kung Fu Mike's rap. Stop the violence in Cincinnati. Stop the killing in Cincinnati. We're getting more and more like South Central. Homicides have become more fundamental. I remember when Cincinnati used to be one of the safest cities to be. People looking out for each other was the key. And I was raised in some of the rowdiest neighborhoods. And I grew up around hoods, up to no good. But at least win, lose, or draw, you were friends the next day. And now they want to come back and blow you right away. You see, we got weapons to keep us strong. Bush sending guns where they don't belong. People in war in Iraq where the people last too long, and people know that's wrong. Black and black body type every single day. Taking some money ain't getting away. Pretty doggone sad. Pretty drums in the street. It's pretty doggone sad. I'm a true fan of talent, and I love and do hip hop. Let's take our city back, y'all. The killing of Cincinnati's got to stop. Will this city and everybody turn out to be a dog at it? And then Lincoln laughed, and I don't know why I still remember that. I don't know why I still remember that. I don't know why I still remember it. And I remember where Lincoln started clapping. Technically, was he off beat? He was clapping on the 1 and the 3 instead of the 2 and the 4. Wow, you really put some real work on that Kung Fu Mike song. I had to listen to it over and over and over again, especially to do the Kool Moe Dee remix version, which, by the way, he called me. I don't know if y'all remember this. It might have happened on the air, maybe off the air. He actually called me to criticize the Kool Moe Dee remix because he was like, I wouldn't have, wanted it to be, Kool Moe Dee, I would have thought, it would have been, more like, Ice-T, and, colors, and so, if I was doing it, again, I would have did it, with Ice-T. Okay. Fame!
Hey, what's going on, handsome?
Hey, what's going on? I'm assuming you're talking about me, even though for whatever reason that makes me uncomfortable.
You need to lose some of that toxic masculinity. That's kind of, which one? Let me try it again. What's going on, nigga?
I don't love that either. But what's going on, Fang?
Oh, no, somebody had tagged me in the comments. I'm just making sure nobody said my name.
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay, because they was about to get a verbal ass whipping. I was very you were talking about Lincoln Ware. I was very disappointed in his show today. They were, they had the local prosecutor on there, and he let the listeners call in to give questions to her.
Mm-hmm.
And right out the gate, sounded like a possibly 60-plus-year-old woman asking about what's her name. The disrobed judge. What's her name?
Judge
Tracy Hunter.
Yes.
Yeah, she asked about her, and I for the life of me, like, have we not gotten over that?
No.
Like, I don't understand the fascination of it.
She was railroaded.
Okay.
People don't like to see injustice.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you want to play in them people's face, whatever she, all that stuff she was doing, at the juvenile court, that they didn't like. She's obviously playing in their face. Her being from their ilk knows how vindictive they could be, and walked right into it. She had a litmus test. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But what did she walk into? Like, they didn't catch her doing anything wrong.
She was clearly unfit for duty.
How?
She had a litmus test. She had a litmus test right in front of our faces with the North College Hill case, and gave them kids a book report to write.
I don't actually think that's true.
It's like, are you serious? For a violent ass whipping?
Wait, I don't think that's true.
No, it's true, B.
Go
ahead.
She explained that to me one day, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but the essence is she did not give them, just do a book report. That was the narrative.
That's what she says now, because she knows how ridiculous it was.
No, that was the narrative that the other side put out.
Then how did that come out then? That she gave, because if it didn't, because if she did give them a book report, she should have, the minute that came out on the news or in the paper, she should have said that instantly, not when you're getting dragged off the court.
She was probably, here's a good chance of what happened, right? So, I'm a judge, and I, give somebody home incarceration or something like that. And on top of that, do a book report. Or, give me a report about whatever it is that you did wrong and how you would do it different. And then Fame gets a hold of it. And Fame is like, because Fame don't like me. And Fame is like, oh, Emanuel gave them kids a book report. But I'm a judge. I ain't got time to be responding to everything Fame say. If people really want to know, they can look up whatever the actual punishment was. But if Fame keeps saying, Emanuel just gave them kids a book report, Emanuel just gave them kids a book report, and I'm trying to stay above the nonsense, I'm probably not going to address you. So then everybody listening to Fame accepts that I just gave them kids a book report. And there was no reason for me to defend myself because I'm in the position that I'm in, and I don't know they about to railroad me. So it's reasonable that she wouldn't
she does know that they're about
come
to
out and
railroad her.
respond to every nonsensical accusation against her. That's reasonable.
She cannot come out here and insult the institution that she chose. She decided to become a lawyer. She knows the ilk of the people she's dealing with.
Okay.
Theaters, the other judges. She knows these people personally.
Right, but if you don't do anything wrong, you don't expect that anything is going to happen to you.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you were on trial with Nathan, with Nathaniel or Nick testify against you,
would they? Hold on. Here's the question.
Simple yes or no.
No, it's not.
There's no qualification.
No,
It's simple yes or no.
There is. Were they subpoenaed?
I I don't know the legal process of that. All I know is that her brother testified against her.
Well, no, let's
My brother would never testify against me.
Let's be clear. Her brother testified. And if they send you a subpoena, if you are on trial, Fame, and they send your brother a subpoena, he's got to show up. He don't have a choice. They will arrest him if he don't.
Right.
So just because the prosecution calls your brother and he testifies doesn't mean he's testifying against you. What happened? Where did you go? Where did he go? Who did what? Who did this? Your brother may not say anything negative about you. He's just going to tell the truth. Fame is this old. He was born on this day. He was this kind of a kid. He's a good guy. He didn't do nothing wrong. Thank you. You may step down. His brother testified against him. But his brother didn't say anything negative about him. So did he really testify against you, or was he just compelled to testify?
My brother wouldn't get involved.
Your brother
people take
wouldn't
charges
have
to people
a
every day.
choice.
He wouldn't get involved. Go ahead and take them 30 days for contempt as opposed to versus me being disrobed.
Please, your brother wouldn't have a choice. And then the follow-up question, of course, is what did her brother testify against her in terms of factually? What did he say negative about her?
Wasn't it some open record stuff?
No, you just believe everything that you heard. They did talk about an envelope, right? What was in the envelope?
No, there was something about some open records.
No, all those records that they claim that she gave to her brother, they never produced any of them. They said she did it. They had an envelope and said, this is the envelope with the stuff in it. But they never said what was actually in the envelope. So what did they prove that she gave to her brother?
There was something with, I vaguely remember the case. I mean, I'm speaking off the top of my head, but there was something involving some open records. I am a stickler of open government. So therefore, she chapped my ass, bothering open records.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. But see, here's the thing. The accusation was that she gave her brother some open records. If they're open records, he has a right to them anyway. But they never even proved that she gave her brother any records.
I think the issue was that he didn't go through the proper channel or something. But okay, I'll take your word for it. It's just, I immediately turned the show off. Like, I'm so tired of this. Guys, we're gonna have to,
but
accept
Fame,
the fact
that's because
she had proper representation.
You have, Fame, you don't know this, but you have been bamboozled. You fell for every trick that they pulled. Because everything that you said here today is the stuff that they said that has very little to no validity. But you believe it wholeheartedly based on nothing but you heard it.
And I read it. You know what I'm saying?
You read it where?
I
In
believe
the Inquirer?
that I believe you believe the narrative that she was unjustly railroaded or whatever, which I believe a lawyer, that should be the last thing a lawyer tries to say that was done to them, because they're a part of that system. They're a part of that machine. So it can happen to you. So why would you F around?
Wait, you said you believe it because you read it. You read it that you read the stuff that John Keyswetter wrote in the Inquirer?
Nope.
Well, where did you read this stuff?
I chose that. Listen, at the Inquirer, I chose that institution. I believe in it.
Okay. You do realize that John Keyswetter had a personal vendetta against her, right?
For what?
I don't know for what.
Isn't Keyswetter the gay guy?
I don't know that he's gay.
I want to say I met him one of those guys. Is that the TV guy?
No, he was a writer for the Cincinnati Inquirer.
Right, he wrote about TV stuff. It's like stuff on TV.
Well, but no, you're right. Not John Keyswetter. Wait a minute. Maybe it was John Keyswetter.
No,
it might not have been John.
The white guy.
I'm sorry.
The white guy with the white hair. I forgot his name.
So I apologize to John Keyswetter. It wasn't John Keyswetter. It was the other guy who had a vendetta against her, the racist guy. Somebody tell me the reporter, the racist white reporter that worked for the Inquirer who had the personal vendetta against Judge Tracy Hunter. If somebody can remind me of who he was. And I didn't know that he had a personal vendetta against her until one time when they came to the radio station. Y'all know how Peter Bronson, thank you, Steban, Peter Bronson. Now, y'all know how if you're watching Lincoln on Facebook Live, when he goes to commercial, you don't hear the conversation that goes on between him and the guest. A lot of juicy stuff gets said during those commercial breaks. But if you're sitting there in the control room, there's a little button that says Q, C-U-E. You push that button and you can hear what's being said through those microphones. That's how I learned that Peter Bronson had a personal vendetta against Judge Tracy Hunter. He just straight didn't like her, and he was not concerned with reporting fact. He was writing the narrative that he wanted out there.
See, here's my issue with that. It is personal because I worked in that building with those people on the 20th floor in that newsroom. So you mean to tell me a story about a local judge that goes through 3, 4, 5 editors still presented fake information? No.
Now, wait a minute. Hold on.
I can't allow you to say that. I can't allow you to say that.
And, oh, man, now I'm so confused. I know it wasn't John Keysweater. I know Peter Bronson was a racist, or I believed him to be a racist reporter. But the name Kimball Perry is also, and that, see, now I'm confused. Was it Peter Bronson or was it Kimball Perry?
Yeah, see, you don't even know, but you're talking about stuff I don't know.
But if you put him in a lineup and I could pick him out because I remember his face and I remember the conversation. Just the names, right. All the racist reporters that have worked for the Cincinnati Inquirer, not the Keysweater is one of those, but all the racist reporters that have worked for the Inquirer, I get them confused. So a few people are saying, yes, it was Kimball Perry. Okay, and I'll accept that. He was a heavy-set white guy, like you said, white, kind of unkempt hair and a bushy white beard. I would be able to point him out in a lineup. So if that was Kimball Perry, then that's who it was. But
I mean, make your mind up. Is it Keysweater, Perry?
No, it definitely
Bronson?
wasn't Keysweater, and I have no problems with Keysweater. I don't believe Keysweater to be a racist. The other two, I can't say the same.
Okay. Again, if you put those stories in my face, I can go right to the paragraph where I saw it. Okay? Where I saw the stuff I'm talking about. Again,
but was it backed up by anything?
I trust the institution that I chose.
Okay.
She doesn't trust the institution she chose. That's all. You know, I'm sorry what happened to her. I'm sorry that it was so public. I'm sorry that it was. I'm sure it was painstaking for her family and whatnot. But you chose that institution and was playing in people's face.
But Fame, here's my question for you. This is really the question. Based on what you read, what did she do illegal?
I mean, do you want me to come up with I can give you 3 different scenarios, just like you came up with 3
Yes.
writers.
Give me 3 different scenarios.
What did she do illegal? Yes. I don't know what she did illegal.
Okay.
I'm not a lawyer, but I know what she did. I know she upset them people that eventually got at her.
We'll agree to that.
And that's all.
No doubt. She upset them people.
She upset them on some level. How legal it was, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. But I know her behavior was very concerning. Again, the North College Kill case was a litmus test that fell right in her lap. You're not gonna change 99 years of racism in 1 6-year term as a juvenile court judge. Okay. And that's not going to happen.
Just so I'm clear, your point in saying that is to say that she should not have tried to treat young people, in particular young black people, any different than any other judge would have.
Say that again. I'm sorry, sir.
Is the point that you're making by saying that is that you feel like she should not have attempted to treat, in particular, young black defendants any different than every other juvenile judge would.
Maybe not so brazenly. I don't know. But the point is that those North College kids, especially the 15-year-old at the time, they needed man hours in jail. Because they even said we just whooped him because we was bored. Like, that's I don't, no, I'm not accepting that. You just whooped him because you were bored. Well, go on, give me about 3 months in DYS. 3 months in 2020. But you're gonna have to get a very substantial punishment for this. The litmus test was right in her face, right in our eye. She couldn't have had a better litmus test fall into her lap if she wanted one. Just to say, like, I'm gonna do the right things just to keep y'all up off of me for now.
Do you know whatever happened to those young people?
I heard they graduated college or graduated high school and all that. Great. You want a fucking cookie for graduating high school? You beat the hell out of a guy who eventually died.
I'm asking you, do you know? Because it's been now. They're.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, that was the only question. It wasn't a trick question. I just wanted to know if you had done any follow up and found out if they've been in any more trouble. Did they turn their lives around and now they're nice, good, productive citizens, or what? You don't know. And that's fine.
You more likely won't know their names because they were juveniles. It's sentenced under juvenile law, so there's a good chance we won't know their names. As far as we know, they could have popped somebody a couple years ago.
That's possible. That's why you asked the question. That's what it's called, a question. Do you know whatever happened to those young people? The answer being no. Okay.
You knew the answer to that we won't know their names.
Who you might have known them, and so you knew what became of them. You don't know until you ask the question.
Absolutely. Indeed. I just want to say one thing in closing about something else. A woman on the Wyatt Show came on there talking, insulting me, and that's fine. If you want to get into an insulting match, ma'am, because I know you're listening, let's do that. I mean, because we've seen your pictures. You've got elbow cleavage. I'd be careful who I insult, Burley J. Blige. All right? It better not happen again. Because I'm going to make you cry if it does. You watch how you talk to me. We speak about my name. You speak it in reverence. Talk to me like you would talk to your daddy, not your baby daddy. Emanuel, it's always a pleasure, sir. I'll talk to you again. You say you're coming on the rest of the week. Guess what? Rothstein will be listening the rest of the damn week.
I appreciate that.
I love this goddamn show.
All right. Brent, I apologize. I had your name up the whole time that Fame was up there. I apologize. That was Fame, not Brent. Okay. Kimball Perry, the heavyset guy, unkempt looking hair, beard. And I believe him to be racist. And he had some personal vendetta. He just did. Ken says, Emanuel, I say it again. It's hard to believe no one with legal intelligence will take on this case. That's saying something. All this time, no one wants to shine light in this dark room. Weird. Again, as I said this earlier in the show. Tracy Hunter, at least in the legal community, or at least the portion of the legal community that I had any sort of connection with, was not very well liked. Oh, that was my stomach. I gotta go eat. I haven't eaten today. Was not very well liked. Now, or respected, maybe. There, again, I heard she was flighty. I heard she was difficult to work with, and that she was arrogant. Those are the three things that I heard repeatedly from people in that community about her. I didn't experience any of that. She seemed like a very intelligent, very competent, very down to earth, yet confident in who she was or who she is. She didn't seem flighty, even though I could see how somebody could say that. Because there's a certain, like, she talked with a soft voice. Y'all done heard her talk before, and she talks with this soft voice. And, you know, and for some people, that just makes a, you know, it's almost like if Chrissy on Three's Company was an actual capable attorney. But you listen to Chrissy, just her voice and her delivery sound like she an airhead. But when you really listen to what she's saying, you're like, no, she know what she's talking about. Judge Hunter has that kind of soft voice that could easily be mistaken for flighty. But I never heard that woman say anything where I was like, oh yeah, that's some weird stuff you're talking there, Judge Hunter. You know, I never experienced any of that. Brent said, I bet they even said she was uppity. I didn't hear anybody say uppity. I don't think so. But that's kind of what they were when they were saying she was arrogant. That's kind of what they were saying. Like she's above, you know, like she act like she above us. And I think some people come to that. Hold on. Brian says, only reason I didn't mess with her is because she stayed trying to get support from anti-police brutality activists, but took zero stands against any other brothers and sisters killed by the cops. I still defended her against attack, but I didn't feel her politics at all. I respect that. But there were a lot of people in that community who had issues with her. I remember, again, this is one of them conversations that happens during the break. I remember, and he's not here anymore, Todd Portune, when she was kind of, even the whole thing with, was this when they were trying to get her new furniture? Or was this? Either way, I remember Todd Portune having a conversation and basically saying the same thing. And I was like, well, why are they doing this to her? And why won't y'all come out and defend her? And he was like, you know, I try to talk to her and try to work with her, but, you know, she just feels like she's so right. And, you know, that it makes it hard to work with somebody when they don't feel like they've done anything wrong and they don't want to compromise. And it's just so difficult to work with her. And I remember thinking, but if she right, some people, when they right, they don't want to compromise. Some people, when they right, I'm right. Why should I compromise? I've earned, or whatever. I'm right. Why do you want me to compromise? Just give me what I'm due, or do what you said you're going to do, or make them do what they said they're going to do, or make them do what they're supposed to do. I don't remember exactly what the issue is, but even if you're saying, you know, oh, you know, her courtroom, you know, or her office or whatever it was, you know, all the furniture was all broke down and all that kind of stuff. And, her coming in, an incoming judge, I guess typically what they do is, they refurnish or whatever. And if that's the case, and I'm in there with broke down furniture, and you're like, well, we know your furniture broke down, but what if we just give you a new desk and chair, and then the rest of your furniture, it'd be okay. Just work with us here. Work with us here. And I'm like, no. If this is the way it's done for everybody else, do it for me. Treat me like you would treat anybody else. But they don't really want to do that because it's just one of those things where, why don't we just, we'll paint the room, give you a new chair and a new desk, and everything else we can work out later. No. Is that what they would do for any other incoming judge? Well, no, but then no, don't do that for me. See, he's too difficult to work with. He's just so caught up in the fact that he's right, that he's not willing to kind of negotiate and make some sacrifices, and he's just so difficult to work with. That's the feeling that I got from what I heard him say. And yes, a lot of times when you're right, sometimes you got to stand on that. And some people don't. Some people don't stand on that. Some people, they take the deal. And this is one of them things where, hey, to what Fame was saying, I remember when I was charged with a crime, they said to me, I know you said you didn't do it, but why don't you just plead to disorderly conduct? I said, why would I plead to disorderly conduct? Because you never know what's going to happen if you take it to trial. And if you just plead to disorderly conduct, then I think we can get the sentence suspended, and you won't have to serve no time, and then after so long it'll even be off of your record, so it'll be like it never happened. And I'm like, no, I didn't do it. And if I go to trial and I'm found guilty, I'll still know I didn't do it. Yeah, but if you go to trial, then there's a chance. You're facing up to a year in jail. If I got to do a year in jail, I won't like it, but I'm not going to say I did something that I didn't do to avoid a year in jail. So no, we going to trial. And I feel like that's kind of what she did. Like, no, I'm right. And so, no, I'm not. Like she said, they kept offering her stuff. Oh, if you just step down, this can all go away, and you keep your license and this and this and that. No, I'm not wrong. And then she went on the other end and she got that conviction. But if you ask me, I always respect people who stand up. I don't not respect people who take a deal. But I definitely respect people who, you're right. Stand on that. Stand on that. Do that necessarily help you when you in jail? I don't know, maybe. Look, this ain't the same. When I got fired from the radio station, it was comforting to me that I took a stand for what I believed in. That was comforting to me. Say what they want to say. Would I rather still had the job in that moment? Yeah, I would have. But I was going to stand for what I believed in. So is that comfort? in a situation. I've never really asked her, like, did that comfort you that you stood for what you believed in while you were in jail? Was that a comfort to you or no? That's one question I didn't ask her. But yeah, that's what, and I was answering Ken. So Ken, to your point, why has nobody come out and said anything, and why don't somebody want to shine a light? She wasn't. I don't think, and now I might be talking a little bit out of turn. I don't think she was very well connected in the Hamilton County legal system machine. Number one. And I know that a number of people, in particular black people in that machine, wasn't like, oh, we love Judge Hunter. So that could play a part. Not to mention, in particular at that time, they are laser focused on Judge Hunter. They're going to get Judge Hunter. They're going to get her out of office. They're going to take her law license. They're going to do everything that they can do to Judge Hunter. I either don't know her or I don't really like her. Do I really want to step in front of that scope so they looking at me? No, I'm going to just stay out here. They got her in their scope. Let me stay out of it. I ain't got nothing to say. They not going to get me. So I don't know. I don't know. But to Fame's point, yes, a lot of people are still invested in it, myself included, because I hate injustice. Hate it. And that's what I see it as. All right, I said I was leaving, almost an hour ago. How do y'all do that? Y'all like Jedi mind trick me or something. I'll be ready to leave. I went to the black screen on this side, ready to go and hit the fade button. And then I look up and it's an hour later and I'm still sitting here. Maybe it's because I'm long-winded. That could have something to do with it. I'm a little long-winded. Anybody got anything else before I go? Anything else? There was something else that I wanted to discuss, but I can't think of what it was. Myosa says, I think it's you, not us. No, it's y'all. It's the collective you that does it. Y'all done found ways. Y'all make comments that y'all know I'm not going to be able to resist talking about or responding to, or somebody just call out of nowhere. Oh, Sierra. See, Sierra's doing it. See, she know what to do. She might be a witch. Don't tell her I said it. No, she's not a witch. Pop the balloon. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Now, if you guys don't know, for the one of you who don't know, Pop the Balloon is this show that they've been doing on YouTube. I don't know who originated it, but Arlette and BM do this show. And they have 8, sometimes 6, 8, 9 contestants. And someone comes up. And, it'd be like 6 to 9 men. And then they have women come in. And people there are supposed to be there to find love. Arlette is a classy woman, and she asks, the premise is this woman walks in. There are these 9 men here. If they're not attracted to her, they can't see themselves wanting to date her, basically under any circumstances. You pop the balloon. You're out. If you're interested, stay there. And then she's going to ask questions, kind of to get to know you better and decide if you're somebody that she would be willing to date. And as she decides, you not my type, she'll pop your balloon. Sometimes you'll get a match where you have 2 people who everything seems to align. They're attracted to each other. They like each other's personality, at least that they've seen. They like each other's or kind of think that their personalities, interests, and morals and beliefs will all work together. They get to go out on a date together and hopefully find love. Sometimes nobody matches. And then they go off on their own. That's kind of the premise of the show. The way that Arlette does it, who's the woman host, once someone pops, she asks them, why did you pop your balloon? I always perceive this as an opportunity for, number one, for me, it's an opportunity to get an insight into the mind of the people who are in the dating pool right now. And an opportunity for the person who was popped and the person who did the popping to each learn maybe something about yourself that may not be appealing. And maybe it's something you can work on or, whatever. And so she'll ask, why did you pop your balloon? So, she got on a wig and I don't really do wigs. She wear too much makeup and that's just not attractive. Well, okay. And is he someone that you would be attracted to? No. Well, why not? Well, he said he don't believe in God, so on and so forth. So that be that's kind of the deal. They did a Netflix version. By the way, I don't think I've ever seen a white person on the Pop the Balloon or Find Love. I don't think I've ever seen a white person on Pop the Balloon or Find Love. I can't say that they've never been there, but it kind of feels it's a black love show. I think half, if not more than half of the people there I think it was only 2 black people. 2 black people in the lineup. It was like an Asian lady. It was a few white ladies. It was like a Latino lady. Like a biracial lady who I'm giving credit for black. And then a black lady, I think. And the whole vibe of it was, I didn't like it. It was too entertainment focused. And like, hey, they said, go and be zany. Go be funny. Do and say stuff that people like. And we want people to laugh and have fun. Like, no, we're not really here to find love. We're here to entertain the audience. So you need to be entertaining. And it was almost like they went and got aspiring actresses. Sorry, that's my stomach growling again. They went and got aspiring actresses and said, hey, we got an opportunity. You can be on this game show. Because in my mind, that's the way they presented it. Like, this is a game show. And you can be on this game show and you'll get some attention. So, yeah, it didn't feel sincere. It was live, but it felt really produced and almost, I want to say almost scripted, but it wasn't scripted. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like it at all. So there you go. Oh, Raven Monday in the house. Raven Monday. I hope you're feeling better. I hope everything is going good with you. I do. I hope everything is going good with you. I'm glad to see you here. Brian says, more like reality TV with unscripted actors, but I feel you on the game show comparison. Yeah, that was what it felt like. Sierra says, yeah, they made it cheesy. Tanika says, those people weren't looking for love. No. So, yeah, I didn't like it. I've kind of gone back and forth trying to watch a little piece here and there. It's just difficult to watch. I'll stick with the YouTube version, even though they need to screen their people better because they're getting a lot of people who are there just to be there, to have their viral moment, to say something that's either so out of pocket or so funny or so, whatever, to make it go viral. And some of those people are not there. Like, they even had some of them that's been on other game shows. I call them game shows, but like The Last Chance at Love. And, oh, you were on Last Chance at Love. And then you were on Love at Last Sight. And then you were on, and now you're on Pop the Balloon. Like, they really need to, start screening people maybe a little more in the Pop the Balloon YouTube show. So take some of those people who coming on for clout and put them on the live Pop the Balloon show and get rid of the paid actors and actresses and do that. Do you watch I've never seen Black Mirror. I've never even seen a preview for Black Mirror, so I don't know what it is. But I've heard one or two people say something about it. And, I might check it out. Is it good? Tanika said, yeah, my husband was saying the same thing. BM needs to screen them better. It's getting a little boring. Yeah, it is. I enjoyed it a little earlier on, and now you got people who don't want to say why they didn't pick the person. Now they all saying, just attractiveness. I'm not. She's not my type. You're beautiful. You got it going on. Everything is, but just not my type. Like, come on. You're not helping her by saying that. Tell her the truth. If you think she's a little overweight, tell her she's overweight. Tell her that that's not attractive to you. If you think, there's something wrong with her, tell her. People can't work on what they don't believe to be a problem, but they won't share with these people. Because now nobody want to be, either nobody want to be mean or people want to be like super mean. There's an in-between. Yeah, they all say just not my type, but respect. You're beautiful. You got it going on. I love the skin. I love the hair. I love the necklace. And I see the necklace is matching with the bracelet. So yeah, that's hot. I mean, you got it going on. It's just not my type. But respect. I respect you. But I respect you. That ain't helping her. Brian says, Black Mirror is good. You have to not judge it strictly on the first episode. It's a little harsh. It's like Twilight Zone, where each episode is different. Okay. I'll give it a shot. Typically, if I start watching a show, it's got to be really bad to turn me off, like right out the gate. It's got to be really bad. I watched something the other week, me and Mrs. Livingston watched something, and halfway through the first episode, I was like, I'm out. She was like, just now? I've been out for about 20 minutes. The way it started, I wasn't with it. So, but that happens very rarely. Like, it's got to be really bad. It's got to be really bad. Or just something that we just really not into. Like, yeah, that's not what I thought it was, and it's not good. So I'll try Black Mirror. I'll try it. Actually, I think Mrs. Livingston has watched some of it, but I might be thinking about something else. It's one of the episodes, which would be a really old episode, where some dude was into VR, and he was like having a virtual sexual relationship with another dude in VR or something like that. Is that one of the episodes? Because I remember seeing that and I was like, what the F are you watching? And she said it was something, and I couldn't watch it because it was a little out there for me. Sierra says, yep, that's one of the episodes. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, she watched it. I saw a little part of it, and when I saw two dudes virtually, I was like, yeah, no. I got some shirts to print. You can have that. So, yeah, no. No. Yeah, okay, yeah, no. I might try another episode or something somewhere, but she was watching that one, and that was too much for me. It was too much for me. Oh, yeah. Now I came up with something to do. I definitely did not want to watch that episode. Nope. Did not want to watch that. That's more than a little gay. You know what I'm saying? Nakia says it was a little gay. That's more than a little gay. So yeah, that was the only one. But that seems like that's a long time ago. It feels like it was a long time ago. How long has this show been coming on? Raven talking about that's not how all of them are though. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna give maybe something else a shot and see. I'm definitely not watching that one. You don't have to. Is it a thing where? Because I didn't get the sense that it was something where you have to watch all of them and they kind of follow each other. Like you can just watch one, or you can watch. Okay. Raven says the 7th season just dropped. Okay, that makes sense because it feel like that was a few years ago. Feel like that was a few years ago when that happened, or at least when she was watching that. I was like, yeah, no, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. Seven seasons. You can skip episodes. They're all individual stories. All right. I'll give it a try. And I'll see. I'll give it a try and I'll see. I'll give it a try. Y'all, I gotta get out of here. I really do. I need to go eat something. I need to go eat. I'm working on eating. That sounds crazy, don't it? I'm working on eating more. Like you would think, you fat, dude. You eat all the time. Like, I really don't. Like I said, I haven't eaten anything today. Nothing. I think yesterday, Mrs. Livingston made some nice salmon croquettes. And yeah, because that's one of my, like, meatloaf, salmon croquettes, liver and onions, some fried potatoes with like some sausage, not like with like I don't sausage, but not like sausage patty sausage, ground sausage, but link sausage. I'm calling it link sausage. I don't know if that's what I mean. Like those are like my favorite dishes. I got one or two more. Chili. She made me chili the other day. Yeah, those are like my favorite dishes. I could eat either of those every day of the week. Every day of the week. If she was like, I made meatloaf today. Like, okay, cool. I made meatloaf today. Okay, cool. Next day, I made meatloaf today. Okay, cool. Next day, I made meatloaf today. Okay, cool. Next day, I made meatloaf today. I would never be like, damn, I'm tired of meatloaf. I'd be like, all right, cool. I made liver and onions today. Okay, cool. I made liver and onions today. Okay, cool. What are we eating? Liver and onions. You made liver? Yeah, all right, cool. I would never get upset. So, Lewis said, my wife just made chili yesterday. I love chili. I love not Cincinnati style chili. No Cincinnati style chili. Chili. Like real chili. Love it. So, yeah, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to eat. I'm trying to think. Oh, I got a video to edit. So I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to edit this video. Well, actually, I got 2 videos to edit. So I'm going to eat. I'm going to edit these videos. I think that's about it today. Black Lion say, those are my favorites also. Black Uhuru. I don't know what that means. What is Black Uhuru? Is that a dish or are you saying something? Brent says, thank you. That is blasphemous. What Jesse at the Dukes is passing off as Texas chili. I saw that post, but I didn't get a chance to look. What is it about the chili that you don't like? What is it about the chili that you don't like? Raven says, liver is a struggle food that we as a people must let go of. No, liver is delicious. If it's cooked right, if it's a good liver and it's cooked right, like, you know what I'm saying, it ain't got gristle and stuff in it. I don't know if gristle is the right word I'm looking for. But if it's, you know, I done had some cheap liver that you be like, I can't eat that. Ugh. But some good liver. Shannon says organ meat. Yuck. Hey, liver is good. Liver is good. To me, I like it. I like it. Daryl, you're right. They are. And they know what they doing. It's witchcraft. I'm telling you, it's witchcraft. It ain't really witchcraft. I'm just saying that. But I do. I have to go. Yes, liver and onions with gravy. Yes. Organ meats are good for some blood types. Do you know your DNA? Do I know my DNA? Brent said it wasn't Texas chili. It looked like a big pan of spaghetti. It might have been Texas chili mixed with spaghetti, because I still do that. You give me some Texas chili. You give me some chili, and again, I'm Cincinnati, so you have to say Texas chili. You give me some Texas chili, I'm still putting it on some spaghetti. And eat it. I guess that's the Cincinnati in me. I'm still with Mrs. Livingston or Cookie, her aunt, one of the best cooks ever. When they make me some chili, because I hit them both up. Like, hey, I want some chili. All right. And I hit up Cookie like, hey, I want some chili. And she'd be like, all right. So, yeah, when they make, I still put it over spaghetti. That's the Cincinnati in me. That's the Cincinnati in me. So it might be Texas style chili on spaghetti. Nat says, I never could do liver, but I like Lee's gizzards. I've never tasted a gizzard. It's something about the name gizzard that won't allow me to taste it. If they would have called it, I think almost anything else, I'd have probably tried it. But I've never tried a gizzard. Now, I'll eat their livers. Lee's famous recipe, they sell chicken livers. Of course, they're fried. I'll eat those. They have a certain, it's not the best ever taste, but it's good. But it leaves like a chalky feeling in my mouth. I don't know. But I'll eat the livers. Something about gizzards. I can't get past the name to even try. What the hell is a gizzard? Lee's livers they're good. I like them. And they have the little gravy on them. I like them. But I've never had a gizzard. What is a gizzard? Maybe if I look it up and find out what it is. A chicken gizzard is a muscular stomach organ found in the digestive tract of birds. It plays a crucial role in breaking down food because birds lack teeth. The gizzard grinds the food using grit, stones, and other ingested materials. Yeah, I'm probably not eating gizzards. Yeah, probably not eating gizzards. Not organ meat, but I loved veal as a child. My feelings were so hurt when I found out it was baby cow meat. I still haven't forgiven my mother. I'm not against baby cows. They brought it on themselves. I had to look it up. I didn't know what a gizzard was. Tanika says, might as well throw oatmeal in there. Ooh, I can't eat oatmeal. It's a texture thing. Oatmeal is a texture thing. I can't eat oatmeal. I've told y'all the story about me getting in trouble about oatmeal. And that's when my mama learned this end is stubborn as hell. She gave us oatmeal for breakfast. It was a Saturday morning. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a Saturday morning. I remember I was about to say something that was later. We sat down, and I thought it was a bowl of cereal she was bringing me, which was weird because Mama never made our cereal. So I'm thinking, she bringing me cereal. And she put that bowl down in front of me. Oatmeal, and I take. Yeah, I'm not eating that. I didn't say that because I probably got popped. And I thought, I made my decision. I am not eating that. Everybody else, remember it was 6 of us growing up. Everybody else ate their little oatmeal, went outside, played. I sat there. She was like, eat that food. She left and came back. Boy, eat that food. Oh, you gonna eat that food. I had to sit there. I remember Soul Train coming on and going off. That's what I was about to say early on. But I remember Soul Train came on, went on. I'm sitting there. I wanted to go outside and play, but I wasn't eating no oatmeal. It was nasty. It was nasty. It was not even necessarily it was nasty. It was just sticky and I can't even describe it. It's just slimy, sticky, mushy. No. No. She made me sit there. Eventually, she told me I could get up and go to my room. But she told me, you're going to eat this oatmeal. And for lunch, which was late, you know what was sitting there? That bowl of oatmeal. Well, you're going to eat this oatmeal. And for dinner, oatmeal. And eventually, she said, and this was late at night, go to bed. I was like, okay. And I went to bed. Didn't eat nothing, but I didn't eat that oatmeal. I was not going to eat that oatmeal. She threatened to whoop me. She threatened to not let me go out, which she didn't. Not let me watch TV, which she didn't. Send me to bed, which she did. Not eating no oatmeal. And she never tried to give me oatmeal again. Can't do oatmeal. If you can eat okra. I don't really eat okra. I've eaten okra. But I'm not an okra person. Or grits. Grits totally different. Grits is totally different. They're not even like, I want to say they're not even in the same food group, even though they are. But they not in the same class in any way. Grits ain't slimy. Grits is good. You can have loose grits. You can have, I don't know what's the opposite of tight grits. I don't know when it ain't loose. You know, you can, and I'm one of them people who you can put salt and pepper in your grits. You can put cheese in your grits, or you can do sugar in your grits, or, you know what I'm saying? You can do all different kinds of stuff with grits. You know, all kind of different stuff with grits. And I eat grits all, you know, I eat it with salt and pepper. I eat it with sugar. I eat it with cheese. I eat it, you know, I'm a mix everything up together type of person. So don't give me some eggs, some sausage, some hash browns, and some grits. That's all going in one bowl, being mixed together. Delicious. Shannon, there you go. I'm with you, Shannon. Shannon can do sweet or savory grits. That's me. That's me. I prefer stiff oatmeal. Oh no, I don't like my food touching. It's certain food I don't like touching. I don't like sweet stuff touching savory stuff. I don't like that. But other than that, for the most part, you can mix all of that stuff together. I'm cool. I'm cool. You won't eat oatmeal, but you'll eat a bowl of slop. It ain't slimy. It ain't slimy. Dina says, I love cream of wheat. Ew. I remember somebody used to get WIC. I don't know who it was. But for whatever reason, we had some cream of wheat in the house. And I thought, you know, silly me, it's just like grits. I made that cream of wheat. Ugh. It was nasty. It was just terrible. It was terrible. I was like, how do people eat this? And I remember people telling me that Captain Crunch and what is it, King Oat or whatever it is, they the same. They the same. I think it was King Oat. Kind of look like Captain. It might not be. It's some cereal that look a little bit like Captain Crunch. And I thought it was the same stuff and put a nice bowl of whatever it was. I want to say it was King Oat, but I'm not 100% sure. Man, oh, I was so mad. I was so mad. This is nothing like Cap'n Crunch. Rachel, oatmeal, a little milk, with butter and sugar plus toast. Yeah. Ibadathia says they are the same. King Crunch. They are not. They are not. They are not. And I believe people who say that, especially to little kids who've tasted the deliciousness that is Cap'n Crunch, I believe they should be punished in some way, shape, or form. I don't know exactly how, but there should be some sort of punishment for people who trick little kids who have tasted the deliciousness that is Cap'n Crunch. That King Crunch is the same. Oh, King Vitamin. King Vitamin. Whatever. It's nowhere near. It's not even close. I think there should be some sort of punishment. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. I thought it was King Oat. Who said something about my mac and cheese? So you don't eat your mac and cheese with your candy yams? That's one of my pet peeves, Tanika. Candied yams. D. Candied, I believe. Candied yams. Not candid yams. Yams, be honest with me. Just speak to me. No, it's not candid yams. That bothers me, and candy yams bother me. It's candied. They're yams. With all that sugar and shit. They're candied. I'm sorry. It's me. It's me. It's not you. It's me. That used to drive me crazy. Lincoln always talking about candied yams. Candied yams. I'm like, the yams are just being honest. People do say candied yams, and it bothers me. And then I try to explain it to them, like, no, it's candied yams. I think it's candied yams. Why? Make that make sense. I always heard it was candied yams, so I'm a kind of candied yams. Oh my God. Oh. It's not candied yams. That doesn't make sense. Oh, Tanik says it was a quick typo. See, you got me going off, and it was just a typo. It's time for me to go. It's time for me to go. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, stay safe, stay warm, and as always, be the reason that somebody smiles today. Till next time. I'm out, y'all. Peace.